And that's that. We've qualified for the round of 16, courtesy of Sevilla beating FC Krasnodar right near the end of that game, and now we can finish our last remaining games in the group stage in a fairly comfortable position. Hopefully this means that Lampard might use the other games to rotate the team more, give more minutes to other players, and of course use them as games to rest key players too. In today's game, let's keep things real. This was not the greatest performance, but knowing that we're playing against Spurs in a must-win game later this weekend, it wouldn't surprise me if that the team tonight and the players in general were thinking about that game coming this weekend. So in today's match for you guys, I'm going to break down the key players today, the goals, details, moments, and I'm going to speak about Frank Lampard, because did Lampard get his game management wrong? Is his typical game management that I know a lot of people feel that he kind of struggles in at times, is that coming back again to affect us? I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions. I'm going to break the game down. But before I get into anything, you guys, today's video is brought to you by OneFootball. Now, if you get OneFootball right now, it's the best way to stay up to date to all the latest post-match talk, interviews, news, details, stats, etc, right at the end of a game. It's so quick, handy and convenient, and I'm telling you, I keep stressing that as a hub, because all the important features and details you want, you can find very easily and quickly on the OneFootball app. It's not here to waste time. It's here to give you the information that you want in a quick, digestible manner. If you guys want to try out for yourselves, you'll find a link below in the description. Now, let's start with the lineup that started this game. Now, I'm sure that all you guys, just like me, were expected to see a lot of rotation for this game tonight. And in that sense, we did see it, although there wasn't as much rotation naturally. Now, of course, players like Hudson, Odoi and Jorginho played in front of Kante, Reece James and Hakim Ziyech. The question is, I guess that everyone wants to know right now, was Lampard right to field a team like this? Should Lampard have rotated more players? Should Lampard have made more subs throughout the game as well? Personally, I think that Lampard did the best decision. He knows what he's doing. We have to remember that we're up alongside Sevilla to win this group stage. Ideally, we want to top the group and hopefully get a more manageable game in the round of 16. Knowing that Sevilla were most definitely going to be beating Krasnodar tonight, of course, this would have meant that if we didn't play with many first team players, who knows what could have happened. And the reality is, when you're in a position like this, do you want to take any unnecessary risks? Like on a real one, would you really use this game to give an opportunity to the rest of the squads, knowing that they haven't played as many games together compared to the main first team players? I'm not too sure. I don't think Lampard was looking to take any risks or any L's tonight. And judging by how this game ended with Olivier Giroud winning the game literally in the final minutes of this game, then I have to say that Frank Lampard was absolutely right to fill the lineup and use the team that he did tonight. I understand that some people might think, but Nini, okay, you know what, you're making a fair point, and you know, because I'm not biased, I understand why Lampard did certain things too, but what about players like Timo Werner? Why did he play the full game? I mean, he was clearly tired. It's why he wasn't that great tonight. And yeah, I kind of agree in that sense, but you know, in games like this, moments like this, you're not going to take any risks for no reason when you don't have to, especially when you're in a very strong position. Having Werner in the team, a player that you might feel, you know, can get a goal out from absolutely nothing, why would you take that away from the team? Who would be the guy up front to bang in the goals instead? I mean, we got to like see things from a more realistic perspective. And the funny thing is, the manner in which we won this game in the end came from involvement from Timo Werner. Yes, it summed up his entire game today, and I'm going to speak about him very briefly, but at the same time, we've seen Werner constantly create these opportunities for himself, and if he wasn't there in that moment, would that deflection have created the goal that Olivier Giroud scored? I don't think so. Things would have been absolutely different, and I just think sometimes that we can be too hypercritical for no reason sometimes. I mean, the reality with football is that it's not like you're going to play your 10 out of 10 game every single week against every single opposition. It just doesn't work like that. For me, it's quite clear that all the players are focusing for the Spurs game happening at the end of this weekend, and that's why throughout the entire game, I got the vibe that we were in absolute second gear. I think we were. Second gear throughout the entire game. It wasn't the same intensity as we've seen in other games, and to be honest, the fact that we can now play second gear and still win games. And yes, it was tight, but we still won the game. I think that tells you everything you need to know about the evolution we've made, the improvements we've made since last season, because last season, you guys, to get any point, we had to play at our absolute very best every single time. So, you know, I'm comfortable being in this current position right now. I honestly am, and I just think, you know, let's like not be overly critical for unnecessary details, because in the end, the result matters. So let me move on to the game, and of course, I'm going to speak about some key moments and details. One of the first ones to speak about would be the goal that we scored. Now, the goal came courtesy of hudson. Great to see him get on the score sheet. Nice that he's got 2 goals in Europe, and as we saw from that reaction with Mason Mount, my guy, you know what I mean? Like, it's great to see those types of vibes in the pitch, you guys. That goal was good. I thought it was a very good goal, and it came from Mason Mount. Now, I'm going to just give a very quick comparison, but would a Corvero Jorginho play that ball to Hudson-Odoi? Definitely not. And after the game, Callum himself actually stated that he knew that with Mason on the ball, he had to make that run because he knew that Mason was going to find him. So I'm so happy that people are finally starting to see the technical ability that Mason has always had. You know, he was always going to be a number 8 midfield player, but, you know, for context, tactical reasons, etc., he's had to do a shift for the rest of the team in different positions. But seeing what he provides in the midfield, for me, the standout again, there was this moment in the game where with excellent close control to like control a ball in the air, holding off Camavinga too, nutmegging him, and then, you know, playing the pass of his teammates. It's quite obvious that Mason Mount is on that path to becoming a world-class player. I really think it's evident. It's how he plays. It's his first touch. It's crisp. It's sharp. He does the right things at the right time. He plays with pace. Pace, control, and quality. And for a team like us that requires space, you know, just decimate the opposition team, Mason Mount is super key. And again, big player, great game. But I'm going to move on now to the second half, because with this game today, yeah, it wasn't like there were too many exciting moments. As I've been constantly stressing, it's quite obvious that everyone's thinking about the game against Spurs. Understandable, so I'm not really that annoyed by the game today. But at the same time, I thought that Rennes did give us a decent game. Now, I want to stress the levels. We're second gear, Rennes were playing their best game, and it still wasn't enough. Now, yeah, they made it hard for us. I thought that their striker in Guirassy was quite good, and to be honest, I felt like he caused a lot of issues for Thiago Silva. Now, with Thiago Silva, I can understand that he's a little bit rusty, and that's why he wasn't at his very best today. I'm looking at that set piece score and I'm just thinking, Thiago, I'd want him to do a bit better. And when you consider maybe the other mistakes that he made in the game too, for me, I think it was just rustiness that affected things. In the second half, though, I do want to speak about the changes that Lampard made. Now, so many subs came on, basically an entirely different team. I thought the introduction of Kante came at a great time. I thought that we were lacking some bite in the midfield, and with Kante, you know, when are we going to start seeing Kante as a guy that can do everything in midfield? He can play box to box, he can play as a CM, he can play as a DM. There's not many things that he can't do, and just seeing him play that role compared to what I was seeing from Qualification, etc., it really shows you the levels that Kante brings, and it was his interception that created the second goal. So, tick, Lampard made the right sub. Moving on, of course, guys like Ziyech came on and taking off Hudson-Odoi. I understood that because Lampard had to be like, okay, if the game went to the final wise, who's going to win that game for me? Is it going to be Timo Werner, who's got 9 goals already, or is it going to be Hudson-Odoi? So again, Callum had to be sacrificed being on greater quality. I guess if there was maybe one player that I wish could have stayed for the entire game, it would have been Mason Mount. But of course, he needs a little bit of a rest too for that upcoming massive London derby against Spurs. And in came Kai Havertz. So with Kai, again, similar situation to Thiago Silva. Let's not forget that he got COVID. He hasn't been training with the team as much, so he looked slightly rusty himself because I never saw him get inside the books as much as I'd like to see. In the end though, I think that the quality was too much for Rennes in that sense because they made some sloppy errors which you can't afford to do at this level, which we, of course, a team like us is going to profit from and get the result. Anyway, moving on to Giroud, obviously coming on for Tammy Abraham. Again, that was the right call to make. No surprise that Giroud got the winner. You know, when there's a ball to contest in the air, 9 times out of 10, Drew's putting that ball in the back of the net. It really is that simple. But it's beautiful to see the depth and quality that we possess. The players that can come into the team and still maintain that momentum and that quality too. I thought this was a professional win. And again, I'm very happy that we can start winning in this manner where we don't have to play at our best to get the results. That's what the best teams have always been able to do. And it seems like we are on the right path under Frank Lampard. So there you guys have it. That was a match review for the 2-1 win over Rennes tonight. Professional performance. We played second gear. It wasn't one of those games that we were going to really play our very best at. We're saving that for Spurs. You guys, this weekend, I'll see you then. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.